Alright, well this customer did send, I didn't even really realize this at first, but this customer did send a second Playchoice board. And I have it turned on right now, powered up and turned on. I checked voltage, it was at 5.15, which is fine without any, you know, it might drop down to 5 volts with a couple cards in here. 5.15 is fine. But it's on, it should be, I have it hooked up right now to the top screen, I believe. I do, yes. The top screen, which is the menu, and I should have at least the menu down at the bottom with the little green bar saying insert coin or whatever. I should have at least that, and I don't have anything. I don't have the PPU in here. I don't need it for the top screen. Don't need none of that. I'm just trying to get the menu up on here. And as of right now, I got nothing. Points of weakness right off the bat are these sockets. And these sockets actually. But yeah, if I want to use the Fluke 9010A over here, I've got these working cards are right here. I took them out of the other board. But yeah, I'm going to have to replace this Z80 socket if I want to use my Fluke. So while I'm at it, I'll replace both of these. This one, this one, this one. I'll leave these the way they are. These, you know, these are hit or miss. But the 40 pin ones, definitely. Especially where the PPU goes in with the straight flat legs that go down. This has to go. But so I'll replace these 3 sockets and then put the Fluke on this and see if I can read anything. First and foremost, because I'm getting nothing on the screen. And like I said, you should see at least the menu come up on the bottom. And when I say menu, it's just a bar, green bar. I could put the other board on here and show you what it should do. Let me do that. Okay, this is the working board, and you can see the LED is lit. And I took the PPU out of it because it doesn't need to be in there for doing this kind of stuff. And that's what I mean by menu. I should get that on the bottom of the screen. And that will tell me it's ready to accept the cartridges in here. And this LED needs to be lit, so I'll get the other one back on and we'll start messing with it. Alright, with the second Playchoice board, I have replaced the 40 pin sockets, and I just pulled the RAM. I pulled all 5 RAM chips, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the slimline RAMs all tested good, but the the non-volatile RAM was no good, so I replaced that one. And I had the Fluke on it, and I could not do RAM checks successfully. The address buffers looked a little, I mean, they were a little shaky. They were kind of interference ridden, but they weren't looking bad, so to speak. But I replaced them anyway because I was having a difficult, I couldn't get through. I was getting FF errors on the RAM. And that didn't solve anything, so I was like, well, then it's got to be the data buffer, has to be. So I just blindly kind of replaced it without analyzing it, and still no dice. What it turned out to be, I noticed when this thing was plugged in, I put my fingers up here on these 240 input buffers, and they were flaming hot. So, and those are directly connected to the data bus, to the CPU, so they were obviously corrupting the data bus. What had happened, you can see, is one of these, I think the diode array flamed out, and it just took everything out. It took all of this out. Those two 1K resistor networks are okay. and one of the 68 ohm resistor networks is okay, but the other one fried. And I think both of the diode arrays are no good. I'm going to look at the schematic and see how they're wired so that I can properly test them, but I think they're both bad. One of them absolutely fried out. But I'm getting that all cleared out and rebuild that section, and the board will probably be okay as far as ROM and RAM and stuff like that. That's the hope anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out these right now, put some sockets in there and rebuild this part, and I'll be back. Alright, one of the 68 ohm resistor packs was okay, so I just put it back in the board. The other one was fried. And these are not bust resistors, they are just individual resistors, so that's how I have them in the board here. It's 4 68 ohm resistors. It's not a bust pack. So the 1K is a bust pack. So I'll put one of those in there. That tested bad too. One of them was really high resistance and it got burnt up. So I'll put that in. I'll look at the schematic for those diodes. Those look like just a diode network of a bust diode network is what that looks like. It's probably just probably use 914 diodes, so a diode array. So I'll check that out and put these sockets in the board, and then we'll be ready to check it out. Alright, I got the 1K pack in, but it was too short. You can see where it didn't go all the way, so on the bottom side of this I had to run the last 1K resistor back over to the power, to pin 1. So they're all pulled high. So now I'll do the diodes and the sockets and I'll be back. Alright, looking at the schematic here, here's those two diode arrays. And you can see the cathode is the common, which is tied high. The cathode goes high, you can see right there, the little circle. And the anodes are all connected to the 240 inputs. So we'll use the 4148 diodes and tie the cathode side to pin 1 basically, and then we'll bus them on down. So we'll go ahead and do it. Alright, and I built some diode arrays. Not exactly pretty, but it'll be functional. You can see the anode end is to the to the contact, and the cathode end is bussed over to pin 1 on both of them. You can't see the second one, but so there's a diode array. Now we'll socket these and be back. Alright, so I got new 240s in the board. All that work's done. And I'm doing a RAM check right now. And it looks like my RAM test is going good. So that cleared that up. I think there's RAM at 88 maybe. Yeah. Yep. This is the non-volatile RAM, 88 to 8FFF. This was the other one. So yeah. Go ahead and plug in the monitor. It might have something up on the screen. Oh yeah, you can't do that because it'll give you an error. This is a different 88 is this one, I believe, and that will give you an error. I'll have to look at it again. But yeah, I'm not getting anything on running. Oh, I don't have ROMs in it. Okay, let me put the ROMs in this thing and run a ROM check and see what we get. Alright, I did my ROM check, and it's supposed to be C8D9 is supposed to be the signature, and it's 9D0E. That's what it came up to the first time. So I just redid it and put that in as the signature, and it came back okay. So it checked twice to that signature, which tells me we might have bad data in this ROM. So I'm going to have to stop, and I need to put these back in. When I was having problems, I forgot I did this. These 157s, 3 of them right here, are also connected to the address bus, directly to the address bus after it's buffered. So I removed those thinking that it might make, and whatever. So I need to put new 157s in the board right here. And so I'll do that, and I want to just get my reader out and verify the EPROMs. So, because I think this one might be bad. It's either this is bad. I don't think the decoding is bad, because I went through the decoding, and you can see I got some green dots on some stuff. You know, so I don't think decoding is an issue. I think it's a bad ROM. So let me go ahead and dump those and check them out. And just doing my comparison on 8T, which is my program ROM, it is no good. I'm gonna read it into the buffer. Alright, and buffer editor. So it's not erased. I'll see if I can just erase it, and I'll see if I can erase it and reprogram it. I'll be back. That's going to take a little bit. It usually takes about 20 minutes to erase these. So let me go ahead and erase that and see if I can just reburn it. The other ones, by the way, the other ones are fine. These ones came back okay. I'll put window coverings over them and see what I can do about that. Alright, and this ROM did erase, and then I tried to reprogram it and it came up defective. So I have a new ROM in there that I have, so I'm programming that guy. It's programming slowly but surely, and like I said, these guys all tested good, verified good. So once that guy's done, we'll put the board and set back together and see what we get. Alright, we're hooked back up. Got the new ROM in there. And I just did the ROM check, and it came out good. So let's run this and see if we get our BIOS. And we're getting something. And we're getting something goofy. This looks like, I mean, I see columns. We might have counter problems. You know, sync problems in the counting. That's my first thought. Yeah, who knows? That's weird. Goofy. Okay, so I think I can put the fluke up, I think. I think I can put the fluke up and start poking around And I don't know if this is a sync problem or not, because that just kind of straightened out. That don't look like sync to me. That just looks like garbage on the screen. Looks like RAM, actually. Interesting. Alrighty. Well, let me do some poking around. If I find something, I will come back. Alright, I set the dip switches, and you can see this is running, and we have our BIOS at the bottom there like we should, but we've got this garbage on the screen. And what that kind of screams to me is data shifting. Now, I'm looking at this video output part of the schematic. And at the very begin, we have these 194 shifters. 2 of them right here. And we also have this latch, which the data from the CPU side. What I want to do is look at these two guys first. These two 194s, I want to hook the analyzer up to these two guys. And if they're checking out, we'll move up here. I want to look through this section right here, because I believe it's at the beginning. I think it's right up here. So, yipper. That's what we'll do. Alright. Let me get the analyzer all set up and hooked up to this, and I'll be back. We'll check it out. After doing some testing and poking around, I just decided to swap one of these RAMs with one that was over here. These all tested good when I tested them, and apparently it went bad, because now I swapped a different one over there and it's working just fine. I'll take it out of, I'll switch this dip switch and restart it, and you will see down there we got our BIOS up. I'm going to retest this, because it did not work. So I'm going to have to buy some of these. I don't have any more. So for the time being, I'll take one out of the other board and put in there, and just to get it going. So yeah. All right. Well, let's put a RAM in here and see what we get. All right. It looks like our top monitor stuff is good to go. See here, baseball, but wait till it gets to the menu select screen. And it just reset. See that? It's goofy. Switch over to the other monitor. You'll see it has no sync, and it just does not work. Yeah, so we'll have to figure that out. So now our problem is in this section. So we will figure it out. Alright, time to go poking around. I'll be back. Alright, I pulled this out of the board here. This is the one that I swapped out. That initially was in here, and then I replaced it and it straightened up. This one I was testing it in my Inquisitor, and it was coming up good, and I just kept testing it over. I probably tested it 15 to 20 times, and it was good every time, and then it started going bad, and now whenever I do it, it's bad. See that? Bad. But this one, I tested this one over and over. And it never was bad. Yeah. Over and over. Yeah, so. Alright, yeah, this one's definitely no good. So I'm going to have to order in some of these RAMs, but yeah. In the meantime, I'll just rob RAM from the other board to finish this one while I wait for the other RAM to come in. So I'll go ahead and do that.